Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth and its divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than 5D, the fifth dimension, the place to be. I don't know why I gotta be like, it's like I'm clicking into 5D, like check in, right? As usual, I'm bringing you the news to infuse, if you so choose to infuse with that light. Lighten up on the light grid with the rest of us in the lighthouses and the light colonies. Now, you can always refuse, but remember, if you refuse, be prepared to be fried on the grid. Ashe. So happy Crown Throat Day. The Crown Day, as in for the chakra of this full moon transmutation, and the Throat Day because according to the 5D calendar, if you have one and you look, you'll see today's Thursday, and that is Throat Chakra Day. So that's how we get the Crown Throat Day. And it's been this interchange going on, which I'm going to talk about. This is the 7th day of a 7-part series of this full moon transmutation that I'm sharing with you all, that I've been doing every day, following through, and also leaving a little short as a snippet, or an additive, not a snippet, but more like an additive to what we're doing, and to just invite us into the full moon, and challenge me to do some more shorts, because that just hasn't been my thing. So, I'm not tech savvy, but I'm working it up. I'm working it on up. So check out any of the shorts if you can. I've been doing my best to, keep with it, and we'll see how we do after this. Okay. My little challenge was to do it for the 7 days, which I have done. Whoo, completed, ready to take a little break. Anywho, as the Crown Chakra Day, this is the 7th day, and we've been doing the full moon transmutation from the root going up. The moon is most potent 3 days before, 3 days after. So that's why we start 3 days before at the root. And of course, after the full moon, there's 3 more days after, that being today. And that is the crown chakra. Now, I know it's late. Some of y'all not going to see this till the next day. I'm also pushing time. So that plays a part in it. I've been in sleep throughout the day. So this is like morning for me. So rising, divine rising. Right. So with the crown, where do we go with the crown? The crowns, I'm going to give you some information about the crown, and then also as well as what's going on with the celestials. This is a cosmic assessment. So this day completes in our full moon transmutation, the cosmic assessment, but it ain't over. There is an assessment going on. It's like we're almost in this season of this cosmic assessment. Very important tool that is helping us, meaning this transmutation, to shed what we need to shed, right? This full moon was a shedding type of full moon. I mean, of course, it was a full moon in Scorpio. So it's inviting you to go really, really deep, right? Especially why this is even more impactful with being a shedding moon is because of Black Moon Lilith also being there, as I've been mentioning. So remember, she's the rebel. She is or known as the rebel. The archetype that she plays, the Kalima, the Sekhmet, the just breaking it all apart, going against whatever it is that you've been used to and you've been comfortable with. That's the part that is like, no, we're not having it. It's not cutting it no more. So whatever the full moon was bringing up for you to transmute, for all of us, is to get rid of any contraband in our consciousness that we can't carry with us. It cannot pass checkpoint into the new timeline. So it must be removed. It cannot go with you. Like a lot of people have to, well, you don't got to do a darn thing, but it will suit us best if we grab our minds around that. This is not something we can kind of tussle with as the timelines are shifting and the earth is quaking, right? You got to know what side you're going to be on. So that's with, the outlook of this full moon. I've pretty much been saying it the whole time. It's a cosmic assessment. We're in that lunar cycle of having an assessment. The new moon was a manifestation type of cosmic assessment, or the assessment of what you're manifesting. And now we're here halfway through this cycle at the full moon, and again it's assessing, it's reflecting. All right, so the full moon, for those who don't know, the transmutation, we have every month, we have a monthly opportunity to cycle, to shed, to remove, to release, to pull up some things. So the moon always brings up some stuff for us, because it's like a, cosmic spotlight, spotting on us any of our dysfunctions, anything that we need to just get rid of. It doesn't serve us. It brings these things up. So that's why a lot of people get irritated, and they be like, oh, it must be the full moon. It's like, yeah, you got something that you need to release and get rid of. That's why it's happening. Not just for you to say, oh, I'm irritated by the full moon, or it's causing me to be irritated. All right, we treat the full moon like a menstrual, like, which it is in alignment with it, but we treat it like, oh, we PMSing because it's a full moon. It is really here to help us, just like your cycle is here to bring forth life. This is to bring forth life, but it must shed, right? Some shedding has to happen, just like the moon. So with that, it's to understand that every month we have this opportunity to get in and remove some things out of our subconsciousness, because that's where things are really laying. So I look at this as an opportunity to tap into your subconscious and, get your soul code, unlock your soul code. It's like you get to go in and pick the lock in your own mind, right? So you get to go in and review, retrace, release. And it's a feminine energy, the lunar that is illuminating for us. The lunar luminary is, the feminine energy is receptivity. The feminine energy is understanding. So it's allowing us to really go in and release what needs to be let go. And being just like how it brings up the tides, it brings up our emotions. So that's how she helps us, brings it all up, all the emotions in you, that sacral body energy, right? And speaking of that, because the sacral is the emotional body, and speaking of the sacral, I didn't mention it in any of these videos, but we are in a sacral chakra season. So all the more reason why this is working very tightly with us in regards to relationships. Relationships is the thing that throws the sacral chakra out the most, because relationships affects our emotional body. So it's really having us look at social dynamics, because relationships are our social dynamics. It is the social studies of our life. So this season, this whole spring season, is a sacral chakra season. I know I haven't spoken much about it, but from time to time I mention, remember, it's a sacral season. So we're really being invited to look into the emotional body. This is a time to assess that and allow the emotions. The sacral is about allowing yourself to feel. So rather than cumber them down or suppress them, is to really allow it to come up. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough for you. It's not even about being vulnerable for anybody out there. Being vulnerable enough for you to allow these things to come up, so that you can face it. You can face your shadows. You can face your fears, which the shadows become the shadows because of your fears, right? Because of mind state of lack and limitations, right? And we want to transmute all of this so we can get into the love frequency. We can be more in tune with love-based thoughts and feelings, right? And be in the mind state of abundance, knowing that everything is there, not just looking for abundance that we can physically see, but as we're in our higher chakras, and especially when working with the third eye, it's knowing, having the faith and knowing that it is already there. It's waiting on us to open up and receive it, right? Let me not go down too far down that road. I want to focus it on our crown chakra. So this with that said, everything that we're doing with this workshop, it's a shadow working tool, right, to help you get in the ring and shadow box with that subconscious mind and utilize each and every energy center. It's an opportune time to get into your consciousness through the doorways. Your energy centers are the doorways into your soul. So that's why we incorporate using the energy centers with the celestial bodies, right? So it's the energy centers and the centers of the energy centers in the universe, in which the crown also, not the crown, but the planets, thank you, are also aligned with each and one of these energy centers. So we started at the root, right? We did a pyramid transmutation. You can look back at one of the previous videos to see how in depth we went with it, but we utilized each one to transmute the fears coming on up, any fear-based thoughts that are in the root. We did earth work for the lower chakras, some outside work with a garden or with a potted plant or your neighbor's plant, asking yourself what you fear while pulling up the roots, and then going into the sacral, tilling the soil while asking yourself where you may have any guilt. These questions are number one blocks of that chakra. Then bringing it up into the solar plexus, pruning your garden or your plant, pruning and transplanting, and asking yourself, where do I have any shame in my identity body and or mental body? And then into the heart, either still beautifying the garden or coming into the house and cleaning and clearing up some clutter, while asking yourself, where do I have any grief or unforgiveness, and really working the forgiveness of yourself so that it extends to others. Whenever you're working on unforgiveness, always look at self first, because somewhere you are unforgiving of yourself. Even though someone did something to you, somewhere in you there's some unforgiveness of how you showed up, right? And that's if you're really willing to do the work in that way and pay attention to you, right? This is for those who've mastered. The ones who'll be able to do this are those who mastered South Node in Libra, that we just changed out of, because now we're South Node in Virgo. But for those 18 months, it was for us in our social dynamics to get an understanding of the justice and the balance that we were finding in justice, to have compassion for the collective, but in doing so, finding in that justice and finding that balance, it was to go within you and look at how you show up regardless of what happened to you. Look at how you show up and hold accountability for the part that you play in it. And when you see that, because a lot of times we don't see that, but it's there, and unbeknownst to us, we are holding ourselves in contempt because of it. However it makes us feel, we may be, subconsciously mad at ourselves about allowing that, making the decision that allowed that to happen, right? So when you find out that part that you play in it, you forgive yourself, and then you see that person as a channel that they are, right? So again, let me not go too much down that road, but that's ultimately what we're doing, right? So in doing all of this, we're clearing up debris, we're clearing up some things, and this is, again, so we're at the heart and we're transcending it all in love. So once we've worked all these up, and alongside of this, we were working with our pyramid transmutation, which comes with affirmations. And so you'd have to watch that to go into that. But that, along with that, those affirmations that you were doing, along with asking those questions at the same time, as a matter of fact, asking those questions help you to see what you're really transmuting, what's coming up. And in the heart, we release it. We also write a full moon release. What is it I want to release or remove or let go? It could be that very fear. You write about that fear. I want to release it. I want to let it go, and the things and the symptoms that come with it, because usually there's some co-behavioral symptoms that come with whatever that fear is, right? There's some side effects. When they say side effects are da 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 da, you want to get rid of those side effects. So you release that under the full moon, and we look at that as washing it over in love. Come out under the full moon and just feel all of that transcending. Do a full moon meditation, and then we come up into the throat, and this is where you're transcending it. You're coming out of the body, because the heart is the bridge. So the upper chakras are now your spiritual chakras, right? The lower ones are more the physical, because you're more in the body, and this is transcending out of the body, right? The elements for the lower ones are earth for the root, water for the sacral, fire for the solar plexus, wind for the heart, 4 elements of the earth. And then now we transcend up, and the upper ones are, this element is the atmospheric body more. It's like the element are the ethers. There you go. I say the atmospheric body, but I mean the ethers, right? It's etheric. This element for the third eye is transcendence. It's all about transcending the duality and being unified back into one mind consciousness. And then the crown is for the cosmic body. This is our gateway to the cosmos, in and out through our crown chakra, right? So with that said, as we are now arrived up, so I gave us a review back up to where we are. So we're in our risen light. We have our pyramid transmutation, and we're in our risen light up into the crown. And no, this is not Hove, right? This is the real thing. So you see how they be hiding the truth in plain sight? We are the pyramids, and it's for us to be in our risen light. And when you're outside, if you can, you put your palms to the sun. Speaking to my Kemetic people, get that raw light. You know, whatever light you're getting, whether it's the Kepra light in the morning, the raw light in the afternoon, or the atom light in the setting. But put this up towards the sun and kind of just let it pierce through you wherever you feel it. Let it guide you. But with that said, not but, and with the crown, we are now in our risen lights. It is the 7th step. So at this point, whatever we've worked up, once you're in the spiritual chakras, you're pretty much working on transcending, right? And infusing back into the light. The crown is being in total connectivity. So it's moving beyond the duality. Once you pass the third eye, you kind of remove the fixed polarities. Instead of looking at this thing as an opposition, you infuse with the one mind conscious, and knowing that what was meant for whatever came that was bad was meant for good. It's all good. This is why they say God is good, because the great order of divinity is good all the time, even if we don't see it and it don't feel like it. In the end, it's done for good. It's being used to sharpen you. It's being used to remind you, right, that we're part of the remembering. It's all a part of that, right? So with the crown, let me give a little few information, details about the crown. It's not much, like the other ones have so much information, but the crown is very simple. It's very simplified because it is the highest spiritual one. So it's like out of this body, out of this world, right? So with this one, it's really about being very spiritually in tuned, right? It's the gateway back into the universe. It's total consciousness, spirituality, and oneness. This is when you are just very open to spirituality, right? And with this, there can be no disbelief. It's all faith bound. This, like how faith comes in from the third eye. This is very faith bound. It's going beyond, right? And only when you can see can you go beyond. This is where I usually say to infinity and beyond. You're tethered back into you're remembering you're an infinite being. You're remembering how cosmic you are. This carries you into your cosmic body, right? Problems with this chakra is disconnectedness, no touch, and like no touch with, like out of touch with spirituality, right? The color is purple, but to be honest, the color is all the colors of the rainbow, right? Because you're coming out of the crown, out of the soul star, and the soul star, it's like out of the white light, right? Out of the white light comes all these colors of the rainbow that you're bringing down, and as you go up, you return that rainbow back up into the soul star, up into the white light. So this chakra can be purple, it can be white. That's why the crystals for this chakra are usually either purple or white, right? Like amethyst or clear quartz is one of them. Selenite, like it's usually one of those clear or white looking crystals, like howlite, I think, Herkin, I always say that right, wrong, the Herkimer diamond, right? That's one of them as well. The pedalite, even fluorite, and is one of the ones for the upper chakras. From the heart on up, the fluorite will work your higher chakras, right? So some may need that crystal right about now if you need to be calling on your higher self, calling into your high chakras with everything that's happening and shaking. We really need to be remembering our higher selves. So this crown is really keeping us, connected to that. The foods for this chakra, is usually nothing. No foods is the best thing. No foods, no sounds. Um, but if you have to eat, I would keep it real light, like water, liquids, when activating this chakra. Like, so I usually do these on the days of that chakra. Mushrooms are good. Garlic, ginger, coconut water, really good. It's high in alkaline, right? Any other tropical fruits would do good because it's really keeping it really light body. And the foods are like light bodies. Green leafy vegetables is very similar to the heart, because the heart is about unity, and this is it's the unifier agent stabilizing everything, and the crown is also unity because it's connectivity, right? And so it's very similar to that. If you have to have foods, you have foods that are like the heart, light like the heart. Just think light as a feather, light like a heart. Light foods as in light codes from the sun, right? So it wants you to not be so into dense foods. The crown chakra needs no food densities, right? So all of the light foods that are more attuned to the light, first trophic light, is very similar to the detoxing. And the body, anything in this area, this is the upper part, so the cranium, the pituitary gland, also the pineal gland. It shares organs with the third eye, right? The endocrine or endocrine system, the brain, the central nervous system, the central main, I call it the CPU, the mainframe, the central nervous system. Everything that has to do with nerves, and that's why the organ, the skin also. So for those who have issues with the skin, it's the crown chakra. Whatever issues you have in any of those parts of the body, the crown chakra is out of alignment, right? And which means that there's an ego attachment, right? So before I get into that, let me make sure the symbol that represents this chakra is the lotus, the 1,000 petals lotus. And the sound for this chakra is, as I said, no sound, or ah. It's the lightest sound if you're using a sound. All right. So that is the sound for this chakra. Is there anything else going down about it? So I can go into this ego attachment. This is very important for the message that goes with this about what we need to know for the crown. Excuse me, I'm shaking the the camera. Ego attachment. Let's talk about that with the crown, because this involves the ego debts and the things that we need to let go. Some of us are struggling in certain areas because we are still attached. This moon and the celestials are really asking us, as I've been saying, to change the perspective. It is really echoing to us to change the perspective. What perspective? Your perspective of what you value in the earth and how you value it. I can't say this enough. It's really important that we see that the things that we're struggling with does not have to be a struggle. It's very human based, right? It's not of our highest order. It's not things that we really need, but it's posing as a need. So it's for us to reevaluate. This is why I said this is a cosmic assessment. It's for us to really reevaluate how we've been holding it as important based on what society has been telling us, what parents have been telling us, what people have been saying. Is it as important as they're making it? Because right now there's a lot of imposition of these ego attachments because everyone wants to hold on to their ego. So even though they may feel like they do not want to, but you're bound by your fears. So this is why it is important in this work to transmute the fear. It is a pyramid transmutation to do what? To transmute any fear-based thoughts that you have laying dormant there deep in your subconscious. This is in the belly of the beast. It's in the bowels of your beastlyhood. And when I say beast, I mean your 666 carbon body. That is the beast. When they say 66 is a mark of the beast, it's just the beast. It's you. It's the carbon body makeup, and we're evolving out of the beast mode. We're getting out of beast mode. Not that there's anything wrong with the flesh. We came here to use it as our vehicle, as transportation. But these bodies are changing even at a molecular level as we are ascending into the fifth dimension. So it's all of the more we transmute these fears, is the more that we loosen the grip of the ego. And the ego, a lot of times we don't see it because we think the ego is just this big bad bully, and it's not to even get rid of the ego, it's to humbleize the ego, because your wise ego is necessary. That is the part of you that says, I am confident, I'm beautiful, I'm proud of who I am that I am. That lets you know who you are. It reminds you who you are. So that part needs to be there still. It's your identity, right? That's why that's the solar plexus. The solar plexus has a lot to do with the ego and how we exist in our ego, because it is our identity. So, and as I say that, it reminds me that as we have this ego attachment in our crown, for those of us who may be out of alignment in the crown in this way, when you have ego attachments, what that does is it triggers the identity body, because you're having an issue. Whatever that attachment is, you pick it up in your solar plexus, right? And you exude it in your solar plexus. You may be doing controlling behaviors because you need to control this thing that you're holding on to, in the way that you have this ego attachment. And I sometimes call it personal attachment, right? Because when you say ego, again, it kind of throws people in, oh, no, I don't have an ego problem. But you do. We all do. If you have a personal attachment to anything on this earth, anything, then we have an ego problem. And the problem is that attachment. It's a problem for you to be balanced in your crown chakra. And it depends on to what degree you have this out of alignment. It will show up in your skin, in your nerves, if you have nervous issues, if you have migraines, if you get a lot of migraines and headaches. A lot of headaches and migraines have to do with the third eye and the crown. So it depends on where you're having that headache, right? And to what degree. So anything that you're in a personal attachment with, it strikes a chord with your solar plexus, the identity body, the will of the ego, right? And it strikes the chord to do what the ego naturally does, which is to protect. So if there's an attachment, there's something to protect. You want to protect that attachment. So, and this is why when you remove the attachment, it helps to taper, it helps to tame down or bring down the ego's, drive to want to fix things, control things, protect things. Like, we don't need that protection when we release the attachment, right? And it doesn't mean you can't love things and love people, but it's how we love them. It's the emphasis that we put on it, which is why this echoing of removing how we value things in the earth, material things, how do you look at money? Are you doing things because you feel like, and you tell yourself you need this to pay the bills? These are things we tell ourselves, right? These are the lies we tell ourselves, and then we throw our throat chakra out of alignment because it's not resonant with truth, right? It's not a part of the truth resonance in the vibratory field. It is a part of what you chose to call truth, right? So the crown chakra is very, very important in us releasing, like looking at what those attachments are. And as long as there's attachment, you don't have total connectivity. The shadow side of this crown chakra is, of course, ego or personal attachment. The evolved aspect is total connectivity, right? What raises the vibration for this chakra is having total connectivity. And what do I mean by that? Whatever you transcend, think about it. By the time you get here, if you transcended it truly, you should be able to look at it and be at peace with it. You should be able to see the beauty in it. This chakra is also about how do you see the beauty. Another practice you can do with this chakra is ask yourself, where do I see the beauty in things? Right? And then the challenge, the opportunity, is to anything that you are transmuting and removing. You should, this is a test. You know how they say check your work, check your answers? This is how you check your answers after you've done the transmutation. That very thing that you were challenged with or had a fear of, that now you realize is an opportunity if you're really working it well. And you get to your third eye, you like, oh, this was an opportunity. Now when you get to the crown, the foolproof test is that when you look at this, do you feel connected to it? Do you see the beauty in it so that you can feel connected to it? Because there is a truth. There is a goodness and a truth in that. So do you see the beauty? Right? So when we say total connectivity, it's not always about, we tend to think, well, I'm connected because it feels similar. You know, we're connected to it because it feels like mind. It's not about being like mind. The true test of time and the true test of faith is that, can you be connected to that thing that you felt opposed to? Because then you truly transcended and integrated and harmonized and really brought yourself into total connectivity. Can you be connected with that thing that you thought was in opposition to you? Can you hold the vibration of the love frequency that helps stabilizes these thoughts about what's happening? Because then all of this changes your outlook. It changes your outlook of what's happening within you, intrapersonally, and your outlook interpersonally. And it helps you to have compassion for the collective and where they are, even though yes, they're doing wrong. Yes, there's a lot of ignorance out there, but there is the things that are agitated in them that are agitating you are opportunities for growth, are opportunities to sharpen you and let you see where you are and where you ought to not be. Right? It's a measuring tool. So it's not for us to judge and condemn and really cause us to be in. That's what causes that separation. You know, it's that us against them. And it's like, no, it's just they are where they are. And yes, it's unfortunate. I feel it sometimes. We all do. The irritations come in because we're in our human suit. You know, there's mental, emotional unrest in our human mechanism. So yes, we feel it, but it's for us to constantly be a part of the remembering. Have a soul synapses, remembering. Every time we get an opportunity to do this every month and we get to the crown and we ascend in our divinity and we allow ourselves to detach, you should be able to detach from something at the end of this. And that detachment brings you into your connectivity where you can just feel the peace, feel the oneness, and feel the harmonizing. And that's what would help us feel that we are integrating into our new timeline. It helps us to see what needs to fall away. When we have that detachment, then it's like, okay, now we took some contraband out of our consciousness. Now we let something go. So what is that thing that you're holding on to? What has to be perfect for you? South node in Virgo. Let me mention that before I go. Remember, the north node is in Pisces and the south node is in Virgo. And this is something I do want to remind us of, because we should stop looking at the details, right? Part of our downfall is looking at these little minute details. And sometimes we're looking at the wrong details because it is a fixation or an obsession of the ego. It keeps the ego going. It is a manipulation tactic of the ego. Yes, we self-manipulate. Right? When we allow the ego to have its way, when we allow ourselves to still be attached, there's some self-manipulation going on within the soul's consciousness. Right? We don't always need people outside to manipulate. We manipulate ourselves just by having that ego attachment. So really think about that. When you're having that issue with that thing or that person that you just don't want to let it go, we really got to release it. Take some deep breaths and release it from the soul's attachment. Release how you have attached it. Is it that important to you in that way? Let's reevaluate. Yes, this may be my lover, my friend, my best friend, my child. Do I need to be attached to them in that way? And this is for the mothers. A lot of us feel like we have to be a certain type of mother. And this came up recently in a conversation. Very important. We have to detach from how we think we should show up as mothers. It's not your job to protect them from every single thing. If that's the case, you actually become an enabler. and you're not allowing them to have their soul unfolding journey. Some things you are to stand on the side and watch them cry and let them get the lesson for themselves. It's not your job to go in. A lot of times we pressure ourselves, and that is an attachment. I share that with you because it's a type of attachment. And yes, it's for the ego because you want to feel like a good mother. The identity is what? The title of being a mother. So you have a personal attachment. And I know that may be hard for some people to grasp, but I'm saying it because somebody needs to hear it. And somewhere we use that as an excuse and say, yeah, we do all this spiritual work out there and we separate things like that and say, oh yeah, but I got to be a mother now over here. No, all of this goes together. It's all inclusive. This spiritual journey is all inclusive. There is no doing spiritual work over here, but then I'm going to take that and put that on the shelf over there. Partying with my friends on the shelf over there. Oh, that doesn't go with my spiritual journey. It's all a part of your spiritual journey. Being attached to this toxic relationship, I'm going to put that on the shelf over here. I don't have time to get into my spiritual work because I got to deal with this toxic relationship, or I got to deal with we use these things are distractions, right? I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but I had to share I had to share that, especially in regards to mothers. So if you're a mother out there and you're feeling like you want to ascend and then these things are holding you back, take a deep breath. Transmute what you need to transmute and detach. Love them, but detach. We have to cut these heartstrings that are entangling our true heart vibrations. And it strikes a different chord. It strikes the wrong chords. I don't like to say wrong, but it strikes an off-key chord, right, in the vibratory field of truth resonance. And we can't quite get into the melody and the harmony because we keep striking that chord that's off key. Ashe. So faithfully that has helped. I've given other information about the celestials and where they all are, so you can look into any of those. As a quick reminder, I would just remind us to look at our natal chart, look at where the grand fixed cross that we were having, meaning all the fixed signs. We had placements in definitely the sun and moon in Taurus and Scorpio when it was in Scorpio. And we had, what's the other one? The other axis, Aquarius and Leo. We had Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Leo, which is igniting that fire and that passion. So a lot of us are feeling, the revelation is being shown, Pluto, and then Mars is like, what you want to do, we got to do something. It's ready with that fire to do something. But some of you may be held back because of where your natal Mars is. So your natal Mars doesn't really work with Leo like that. If your Mars is in Leo, oh, you feeling that fire. You ready to do something. You ready to make that change. You're ready to help Uranus make that change, right? And Uranus is in Taurus too. So we got a lot of active planets that are there helping to bring this all together, and Mercury entered into Taurus too. So even in how we're communicating, which again has to do with humanity, age of Aquarian humanity, and collaborations and things like that. So how we're showing up in communication is also mattering, and this is all happening at a time where there's some earthquaking going on. So we have to work this to have the split that we need to have. Ashe. So with that, love you all. Enjoy the rest of this full moon energy. It's piping. It's bringing up a lot. Energies in motion. Emotions are on the move. It's a locomotive. Choo choo. Like really loco. I know a lot of you feeling like you on that locomotive, but keep the engines going. Keep it chugging. Keep moving forward because it's a forward movement into your higher self. See yourself in your next timeline, but know that you have to release the baggage. So until next time, and thank you for those who came through and enjoyed the sneak peek into this workshop. So if you enjoyed it, be ready for the next workshop. It comes next month, and as I said, we go in deeper in the workshop. Right, so imagine 7 days of working through this, right? So with the next full moon. And with that said, love you all again. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.